Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Adison. Adison is from North Carolina in the USA. So let's see what Adison has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hello Adison, I'm very well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself? Doing well?
I'm very good. Thanks so much. Thanks for taking the time for the interview today. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here.
Amazing, amazing. Am I saying your name right? Adison?
Addison.
Adison, amazing. Right, Adison, so before we start our journey, William the Magic Box, I would like you to tell me where you're from.
Yes, well, I'm originally from a small town outside of Charlotte in North Carolina. So born and raised, and that's where I'm currently living now. So here in North Carolina in the United States.
Amazing. And what's the best part of living there, in your opinion?
Oh, gosh. I think everyone, the closeness. I think everybody's very close-knit. Everyone knows everybody. I think that's the positive thing about small towns is there's that close-knit feeling. Everybody knows everybody and everyone's there to help each other out. So
absolutely. And how was your Christmas?
It was great. I can't believe it's over.
I know.
I'm still waiting for it to arrive. I'm like, what happened? I'm telling you, it's going by so fast. But it was very well. I really didn't do a lot. I had a couple of family members that had gotten COVID, unfortunately. So we really just stayed at home and just hung out. I hung out with my parents at home and watched movies all day and ate.
I see.
We did. How was yours?
It was amazing, and actually, you saying that I was on Christmas Day. I live in London, but I'm based in Canada right now, Montreal, because I came to spend Christmas with my godson and my best friend. So on 25th, we went for a walk in the snow just with my godson, and we were just talking about that. We were like, oh my God, it's already gone, Christmas. You know, they used to wait for so long. Everyone's so excited about it, and suddenly it goes like that, and it's like done. Not a Christmas.
It's crazy. I would say the last 2 years, in my opinion, have flown by so fast. I just don't even know what's going on.
I know. I think 2020 was a year that it's even difficult sometimes when you're gonna date some calculation about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you get confused because of 220 because 2020 was just like a blank. It wasn't blank.
Right.
2020. Yeah.
Right.
Adison, and what do you do for a living? Homework.
Well, yeah. So, I actually just left my previous job. I was there for about 4 years. And it was in retail, and I've done a few different things. I did some personal training for a little while. I have a degree in health and wellness, so I did that for some time. And then I was an assistant manager at a retail store, and then I did some other things. So a lot of health, sales, retail, a lot of that background. But I've decided to take some time for the holidays off just to spend with family. I had some money saved on the side, and I'm looking into many different things. So we'll see what I end up landing here soon, but I'm excited.
Very good, very good. Before we start our journey, just tell me something interesting about yourself.
Ooh, something interesting about myself. Well, a couple things. I was a gymnast for 12 years. I was very competitive, and I went to the Junior Olympics when I was or so. Yeah, so that's really exciting. And actually, I was an extra in the original Hunger Games as well. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
Yes.
I got to be an extra, and it was so much fun. But it was kind of an accident because I remember I was with my mom, and they actually filmed here in my hometown. And we were walking into a mall, and there was a line of people, and I didn't really understand what was going on, but they were about to close up, and they were pretty much done. And we had asked them, what is going on? They said it's some kind of book that they're turning into a movie, and I had never heard of it. So but we were about to leave out, and one of the people that were, I guess, doing the casting watched me walk out, and they said, "Hey, excuse me, have you heard of this?" I said, "No, I haven't." And they said, well, we're auditioning for, extras and whatnot. And they asked if I had any photos. And I only had a couple of little photos, which were not even good photos, really, in the car. So I gave it to them. But they called months later, and I got to be a part of it. And it was so much fun, so exciting to see how movies are actually made. There's just so much work that goes into it than you would ever think of. But
absolutely. I've done as well a few extra jobs back in London. And I think, as you said, it's so much fun to see, the things happening. When you see the big picture, you go like, my God, it's amazing. But behind the cameras, behind the scene, there's always a lot of things happening. And it's hard work. My God, it's a lot of things happening.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. I know that we filmed, there were a few days where I filmed, I had to be there at 5 a.m. because you have to do wardrobe and hair and makeup and all that. And we actually filmed, we took breaks, of course, but we filmed until the early morning hours the next day. So we're talking like, and we had to be back, I had to be back again like 4 or 5 hours later. So I slept in the car. So yeah, it was intense. But so I learned very quickly of how intense some of these movies can be. There's a lot more work that goes into it for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, Adison, so are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Absolutely.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. I've got him. Full of random fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question, okay?
Okay.
Let's do it. I like your moves, good. Okay, Adison, just before we start the game, just if there is a question through the journey that you don't have an answer for, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay? It's all very friendly, right? First question for you is, what makes you the happiest?
What makes me the happiest? Well, probably a couple of things. I think the first thing that makes me very happy is when I manage to overcome something. If I manage to overcome a fear or something that I struggle with or that's been a very challenge for me, I think that makes me very happy because it shows me that, I'm somehow becoming stronger and better, as a person. But I think the thing that makes me even happier than that is really touching other people's lives. I know it sounds maybe a little sappy, but it's true. Mm-hmm. I think if I can make a difference in someone's life, if I can put a smile on their face, that means more to me than anything tangible, So that would be my answer. In all honesty.
Very good, very good. Do you believe that happiness is a choice?
I think it can be. I think it it really comes down to one's perspective, right? But sometimes it's hard to connect with that. It depends on many things, but I would say happiness, it can be a choice, but I feel like, in my life, I've always tried to find happiness in other things and outside sources, whether it be, good or bad, healthy or not. And I think, it wasn't really until more recently where I learned that you're never going to find it in other people, other things, other situations, even healthy things. You're not going to find it. You're going to find it within yourself. And so that's one thing that I've definitely had to learn.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think happiness is a personal thing. You know what I mean? Maybe something that makes me happy does not make you happy. So it's a personal thing. But if you're good with yourself, it's like being good with yourself. I think that's for me what the meaning of happiness for sure. Okay. Next question. Let's do it. Next question for you is, what is the most beautiful thing someone has ever said to you?
The most beautiful thing that someone has ever said to me is how much of a difference I make in their life or in other people's lives. I think I'm one of those people that has a hard time taking compliments and stuff a little bit. Like I feel a little strange about it, you know. I don't know. I mean, it's nice and I'm grateful, always grateful. But I think for me, what touches me the most or what makes me feel, I would say, yeah, I think someone that told me one time that I make a difference in their lives and that I make them feel good. And that, I think that's the best.
Sure. And I believe as well, I'm sure if people say that to you, I'm sure they mean it. I know sometimes it's difficult to take. Sometimes you feel like, oh my God, if I could hide myself right now.
I know. I'm just weird about that. I'm like I said, I'm always grateful. But I the compliments I kind of shun away from, kind of like, oh, thanks. But it's just
very good. Very good. Next one. Okay, Adison, as we are starting now a new year, 2022, my God, it's just around the corner, it's starting now. Are you the kind of person that makes a lot of new resolutions, a lot of goals to achieve through the year, or you just take it easy? This time of the year, everyone is like, oh, I'm going to start a diet, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to, find a new job or something. What's your take on this period of the year?
Very interesting question, isn't it? Because I would say, before 2020 happened, I was the type of person that set a list of goals, that I wanted to set for myself or things that I wanted to accomplish for the year. But I think something that 2020 has taught me, and probably many of us, is that, everything can change on a dime and the world can completely stop. And it's maybe it sounded far-fetched a few years ago, but now we see that, your plans can just completely change. That being said, I think it's important to set goals for yourself. It's always important to have something to work towards and work for. So sure, I do have a few things that I would like to accomplish this year, but I try not to go too deep with it because, again, everything can change so drastically. So for me, it's always, I just want to become a more evolved, better version of myself. A healthier version of myself. And I think that's the main goal for 2022 that I have. So, that's hopefully, like I said, there's a few things that I'd like to accomplish that are tangible, but I try not to put them so much on the forefront like I may have used to in the past.
No, I totally agree with you. I think, of course, as you said, this time of the year is good for you to reflect, and, start a new year's opportunity to come along, this and that. But you need to be more kind of flexible as well. Don't put, as you said, don't put heavy in your shoulders because the world can stop, anytime. And actually, if somebody would come up to me in 2019, said, okay, William, next year, the world's going to stop, I would laugh. I would go like, what do you mean? The world's going to stop? And suddenly...
Crazy.
Yeah, it happened, and sometimes you just need to take it easy. It's good to make goals, but don't put too much, on your shoulders. Be real. See what you can do, and not just because after you can get disappointed, or you can, So take it easy.
Yeah. And I think too, sometimes the best things that can happen in one's life are the surprises, right?
Yes.
People that you didn't expect to come in your life, or situations, or a job, or just doors that open that you would have never thought about, sometimes are the biggest life-changing things that can happen. So I think it's always good to have some goals, but like you said, don't focus too much on it because you never know.
Absolutely. Next question for you is that a dream you always had?
Yeah, I've had many. Absolutely. I would say I think when I was young, I wanted to go into singing, and then I thought about acting and modeling, and then and then of course I went and got my degree in health, and I have a very big passion for that. I always want to help people, in any way possible. So there have been many dreams that I've had. I think for me, I don't know which way life's going to take me or where I'm going to head towards. But I think as long as I'm feeling like I have a life of use to others, and I'm helping people or reaching out to people in some way, shape, or form, and making an impact on their lives, that's what means the most to me. So I would be doing that, I guess.
Do you have siblings as well?
I'm an only child.
Oh my God!
Funny too. Everyone that I've ever told that to who has siblings, they're always, "Oh, you're so lucky and you've got it made." But I always tell them, I said, "Well, it depends." I said, "Yes, you're right."
Yeah.
I'd be lying if I told you that they didn't. But you are their focus and so if you make a mistake or something happens, you are the one to blame. Take the heat, nothing. You are it. So there are pluses and minuses to it. But no, I am an only child. I love my parents. I'm grateful.
Very good. Very good. Next question. Right, so the next question for you is, Adison, what can make you cry and what can make you really happy?
Well, I've been through so much in my life, a lot of ups and downs, that I think I don't really cry as easily anymore. However, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I guess you just become a stronger person through each challenge you go through, right? But I will say that what makes me cry the most is, I would say, knowing people that I care about, or just seeing other people that are truly suffering. I took care of, I was actually a server for a couple of years. And I had to take care of someone who was a teenager, and he was terminally ill. Wow. And he only had long to live. And I kind of told the manager, I don't know about this. Not that I don't want to, but I'm worried, what if I say something wrong, or what if I do something, pressure. But the manager wanted me to take care of him, so I went ahead and did it. And he was just so full of life, even though he only had long. He was full of life, and he was joyful and happy. And I remember thinking to myself, how dare I complain about my life and my situation and my small issues when like him or other people, around the world are still smiling and being joyful about their life. So I would say, that's what touches me. That's what makes me cry, if anything, is just knowing people that are really suffering and wanting to do something about it, but knowing maybe you can't always do anything about it. That bothers me. But what makes me happy, as I said kind of earlier, truly, it's realizing, even when I took care of him, he hugged me and I took a picture with him, and he thanked me, and I felt like I lifted his spirits even more and made some kind of impact on his life. And that was probably the most incredible moment of my life. And so I think just putting a smile on people's faces, knowing that I'm making some kind of difference in the world, that's what makes me feel good and the most happy. Yeah,
absolutely. Yes, you touch a very good point. That I think that sometimes, we have so much that sometimes we forget. Sometimes we take for granted. You know what I mean? And sometimes going through the situation as you did, and just realize. And when you go through that, you realize how much we have, how much we should be more appreciative about it. So yeah, I agree with you. Next one. Next question for you is, what is the weirdest dream you ever had?
Oh gosh, what's funny actually is I have crazy dreams every night. I'm not kidding. What it is, my dreams are always out there, and they never quite, it's like they make sense when you're dreaming it, but when you wake up, like, what happened? What was that even about? So I don't even know. I dream every single night, and they're almost like, I wouldn't say lucid dreams, but they're always wonky, kind of out there. And then a lot of the people that are in there are sometimes people that I haven't spoken to in years, and I don't. So I don't know. That's really hard to answer. Many. Every night I have a wild dream. I have dreams some are scary and some are fine, you know. But I know one dream that I had, which was really scary, was a tornado. That was a very scary dream. A tornado was, and I was like, oh my God, it was so. But the people that I was in the house with were people that I went to the school with many years ago that I hadn't spoken to or thought. It was just very strange. But we survived it. But it was just, I just dream of random things all the time. I don't know if you're like that. Maybe I'm just crazy. Probably what it is. Maybe I need to see someone. But I dream every single night, my friend.
Do you have those dreams that sometimes repeat it again? It happened again, same dream?
Yeah.
It happens to you? For me, it happens a lot of times. Oh my God.
Yeah. And you know what's strange too is I have a lot of premonitions. A lot of them. I don't know, you know, everyone has their beliefs on that stuff, you know what I mean? But for some reason, there have been many, I mean, not just one or two, I mean, a lot of dreams that I'll have. And then a few days later or a few weeks later, it'll happen exactly as I dreamt it. And I'll remember it when it happens, you know? And so very weird. I don't know. I can't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know, but it is strange.
All of us, we have those dreams for sure. All of us.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm just crazy, but
You're not, believe me.
Okay. I'll try.
Next question. Right, next question for you is, tell us or share with us a crazy story that happened to you when you were at school as a child. Funny or crazy?
Oh, I've got a lot. Okay. Well, where do I start? Well, okay, so when I was young, I was teased all the time. I was bullied a lot. When I got to high school, that went down. I wasn't bullied as much, but in elementary school, middle school, I was bullied. So one time I used to be quite short and thin too. So there was one time in the 7th or 8th grade, we were in gym class, and there was this bully who shoved me into a locker and locked me in it. I'm not kidding. They were one of those like long kind of thin lockers, you know,
right,
tall, and locked me in it. And I had to knock until the coach came around and let me out.
Oh,
so I can laugh now, you know, but at the time I was mortified. But so that's one crazy thing that happened. But when I was in high school, this is going to be funny actually. So we had a pep rally. I don't know if you know what a pep rally is.
No, I'm not familiar.
Okay, so what a pep rally technically is, so here in the States, we have like football games or any sports event. So a big sporting event's coming up. Well, at the end of the school day, the whole entire school would get together in the gymnasium, and we would all, you know, celebrate and cheer on, you know, our team. And, you know, so we would root them on, and we would have like, you know, the cheerleaders would go out there and cheer and do stuff. Anyway, it's just a big kind of celebration, a party, you know, let's do this, let's just beat this other team. So the entire school is in the gymnasium. It had been raining that day, and I had flip-flops on and my backpack. And our gym it was 2 floors, and there was stairs. And I'm not kidding, in front of the entire gym, I slipped and I went like top to like almost the bottom. I rolled all the way. I had flip-flops on, but they were wet, I guess because it was raining out or something, or maybe it was a wet spot on the floor. And everyone just kind of like went, ooh. And I was like, oh my. But I don't know if everyone saw it, but a lot of people saw it. And my book bag went one way and I went the other way. So that's one. And then gymnastics, a lot of them. I mean, a lot of wipeouts. Are you familiar with gymnastics, men's gymnastics at all?
Yes. I mean, I've never done before, but I love watching gymnastics, so I love it. I love watching it. So yeah.
Are you aware of the vault where you run on the springboard, jump on the springboard, and you?
Yep.
Okay. So I do that, and it was my turn. But at the time, the vault. It wasn't quite the way shape it is now. It was like the pommel horse at the time that you had to flip over. Well, I ran full speed, but I guess my footing got messed up, and I went boom, hit in the stomach right in front of everybody, and you heard the entire place just go, ooh. So, and it hurt, and they gave me one more chance. I was able to go back and do it again. So I was like, okay, I got it, I can do this. So I tried it again. I ran as fast as I could, and then I don't know what happened. I guess I was just off that day, but I like skid my face all across the top of it, and then I just flopped over on my backside, and it was pretty embarrassing, but I laugh about it now. We still have videos. My parents have videos of it, and we'll watch it from time to time and just crack up laughing.
But I think the good part is when you follow the school, I think the good part is imagine that time with mobile phones, like with you know what I mean, with technology, people making videos. Yes. You would be everywhere forever. I know that would have been awful, wouldn't it? Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's true. At that time, I think there were like flip phones or something, at that point in time. So we didn't have that, but yeah, that's just to name a few. I'm telling you, I had a lot of funny and out there experience. At least nowadays you laugh about it. So that's a good point. You laugh.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't take that too soon.
Very good. Next question. Right, before the next question, so as you say about being gymnastic as a kid, of course, I'm sure you learn a lot, you know what I mean, through that process. I'm sure you know, for your personal life as well. What is the positive thing when you think about it that you are grateful for that period of your life?
In gymnastics?
Yeah.
Well, I think with any sport, you wipe out, you have a hard time, or you can't, you're having a hard time learning a skill and you keep wiping out, or you just struggle with it, or you get a lot of injury. I was in and out of the hospital with a lot of injuries, and I would have to come back and try to relearn things all over again because I would have to take time off to heal, and so you learn how to get yourself back up, dust yourself off, and I apply that to my daily life now. I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life, and high highs and low lows, and but it's part of the journey, right? When you get to low points in your life, you have to learn how to pick yourself up. It doesn't have to stay that way. You can come out of anything, and so for me, that's one thing that I'm so grateful for, to have had gymnastics in my passes. It really teaches you to be strong and that you can overcome anything, any obstacle. I know there was one year that I had pretty bad injury. I actually pretty much crushed all these 3 fingers and even fractured my knuckles because I had dismounted the wrong way and ended up landing on my hand. And so they had to put pins crisscross, like an X in each one of my fingers with a big cast. And it took me a lot, I obviously was out for that competition year, but it wasn't going to be too long before the next competition year, and I wanted to compete. I wanted to do well, so I had to not only heal, but I had to relearn all those skills all over again and more, and in order to compete. And I ended up winning that next year, but it was very challenging. My coach was very strict as well, so he helped. But so I think just those kinds of experiences I'll take with me forever and just apply them to my life, my daily life.
Absolutely. Very good. Next question for you is, what would be the title of your memoir?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I would just say you can overcome. You can overcome. And like I said, because I just think there's other things I could think of, but I just feel like that's a very general thing that you can apply to so many things, because you can not only overcome situations, but you can become a better person, a stronger person, and a more evolved individual. And I think at the point of life, right? You know?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Very good. Good one. I love it. Next question. Next question for you is, what 3 things do you want to be remembered for?
What 3 things do I want to be remembered for? Hopefully, kindness. I hope that people would remember me as a kind individual, someone who isn't harsh towards other people or so judgmental towards other people. Caring. I want to be known as a caring person. And I hope just genuine. I would say genuine, for sure. I think that's certainly something that I feel is really important to me, is just being real, being who you are, being genuine in anything that you do, having positive and genuine intentions. That's super important.
Very good. I think being ourselves is the best thing. It's the only thing you can do. You know what I mean? Be yourself is the main key of anything in your life. Be successful or you'll be happy. I think when you are yourself, things gonna come and gonna go. People gonna see who the person you really are. And that's what matters. Do you know what I mean?
That's right. Exactly. It's so easy to, especially with social media and Instagram like that. It's so easy to compare yourself to other people, and I'm guilty of it. I think we all are guilty to some degree. It's just it's nature, you know what I mean? But I myself have had to learn, that, hey, just because this person is this way or successful with this or looks this way, or, it doesn't mean that I'm any more, any less. I'm my own individual, and that's what makes me me. And same for you, and same for anyone down the street, I don't put anyone above or below anyone else. I think we're all on the same level, same playground, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we need to be always prepared and always conscious that social media overall, they sell perfection, which doesn't exist, perfectionism. So we just need to be aware as well. That's come on, you know what I mean? You shouldn't compare. I know sometimes I'm saying that, but I can still picture myself comparing, or you know what I mean, put myself in a negative situation because of that. But if you're aware of it, at least it's a good point, because you are aware that it's not they're not perfection, and you see this perfection is there. You don't know what's going on behind the you know what I mean, that beautiful picture, that beautiful place, so that perfection is there. So yeah, it's a good point, I think, for sure. I have 3 questions left for you. Let's do it.
Do it.
Right, next question for you is, what have you learned during this lockdown, coronavirus crisis?
Well, of course, to hold your loved ones close and to appreciate all of those people that you love and care about. So I think that's definitely a big one, because you just don't know. We don't know when our time is up, whether it be due to COVID or not. But apart from that, I would say what I mentioned earlier as well is, to not think too hard about the future, to not dwell too much in the future or in the past, be grateful for everything that you've learned and be appreciative and be hopeful for the future, sure. But don't dwell too much on it. I think living here in the moment, in the here and the now, that's probably what I've personally taken from this whole experience that we've been going through these last few years.
I see, for sure. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Right, before the next question, and you say how much you appreciate living the place where you're living right now in North Carolina, but what is the most challenging parts, in your opinion?
In living in North Carolina?
Yeah, in your city, in your town, overall in North Carolina.
Yeah, well, there's a lot. I would say it is changing. The state is changing a bit because there are a lot of people from other places that have been relocating here, especially in the last several years. So, but especially for my town, I think any small town, I love everyone in my town. However, unfortunately, there are a lot of small-minded people, and it just kind of comes with the territory. I think, for a lot of people. So I think that bothers me quite a bit. And you do get judged quite a bit if you are different. So that's a big one big negative that I don't care for too much about it. But not everyone's that way, as I said. There are a lot of accepting people, and there are people that are also coming from other places that are moving here and becoming North Carolinians. But I would say, in my experience, definitely, small hometowns, there are a lot of judgmental people.
Absolutely. I think where I come from as well, back in Brazil, is a very small town. And sometimes I say, people can be very cozy, it's nice as well, but sometimes too cozy. That's the problem.
Yeah, a little, exactly. And they don't quite, what I have found here is people don't quite understand if you want to travel a lot, or if you want to meet different people, or of course, if you have different cultural or religious beliefs or anything like that. They're very, they're just taken aback. They just don't understand why you would want to go and venture at other places or cultures or people, or they just don't get it. They look confused when you tell them those things, and But so that's the downside. I wish people were just more open-minded, more accepting in all aspects.
Absolutely,
but that's what it is.
Let's hope for a day that everything is going to be less judgmental.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Next question for you is, in your opinion, what do you think is a good age to start dating, and why?
Well, it's hard to say that because it's very individual, isn't it? Because there are some people that are younger that are way wise beyond their years, and then there are people that are much older that are very immature. But it really depends. In my life, I think that I feel like it's always good to take some time to discover who you really are and to figure out who you are as an individual, because I feel like not everyone figures that out by 18, 19 years. Most people probably don't. You think you do at the time.
Oh, yes. When you're 18, you know everything. Of course.
Oh, yeah.
You know everything. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. You know it. But you find out in time that you had no clue. So I would say a good time to really start, if I had to say a number, would be 25 plus. That way it just gives you enough time to just kind of have your fun and figure out who you are a little bit more. But some people might require more time.
Ready for the last question?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Last one. But before the last question, so as I can see, you are such a good-looking guy. You're fit. You always, I could see through your pictures as well that you look after yourself. Saying that, did you always find that as a positive thing or more kind of a challenge thing, in your opinion, personally? Not just that, but for example, you are very approachable, you're very outspoken, you know what I mean? And sometimes this can be, personally, some people, they take that, you know what I mean? Okay, I'm comfortable with that. And some people are like, oh my God, I don't know if people just see this good looking person. Do you know what I mean, my point? What's your take on that?
I think, it's very interesting because I've kind of been on both sides. When I was growing up, I was teased a lot and bullied a lot. And so I wasn't very popular. I had a circle of friends that I think, cared about me and I cared about them. And then I think my physical appearance just started shifting and changing. And I started noticing that some of the people, some of the kids that used to bully me were starting to invite me to their parties and things like that. It was very strange, because we really didn't communicate even in school. I don't know. I think sometimes I think people, it is helpful. I mean, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't in some circumstances, but I've also be hard because sometimes certain people or jobs they don't take you seriously if you're good looking, no, or they think you because you're good looking you have nothing within. you're not intelligent, you can't figure or you're just some kind of playboy, or you're just some kind of flight by night, or you you're not someone that they would take seriously. And then you do get hate, you do get people that are also jealous. I and
that's the thing.
Yeah, it is a thing. It is true, and I'm not just saying that. I mean, it is true. So you get both. But for me, I always want people to get to know me for who I am, person, my heart, not you see. I mean, you better be listening, people. You better not just be looking. So yeah, I've had experiences with both, good and bad. Absolutely.
Very good. At least you're aware of it as well. You know what I mean? So you well understanding about it, so I can go different directions.
I guess.
Last question for you is, where do you want to be in 10 years time from now?
10 years time from now, I have absolutely no clue. Because it's funny, I think if you had asked me just 5 years ago where I would be today or who I'd be today, I wouldn't have thought of that. It wouldn't even cross my mind. So I don't know, but I hope that I'm doing something that I love to do for a living. And of course you want to be financially stable, financially successful, and you know those tangible things, but the main thing for me is just to be a better person, be healthy, hopefully to have someone in my life at that point in time and experience that. I'd like to travel and like I said, living a purposeful life, making a difference in other people's lives. That's the big thing.
Very good. It's not the end yet. Okay, let's play now the word association game. I'm going to give away some words and you just tell me one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
Good.
Let's start with money.
Money. Schools.
Love.
I would say difficult.
It can be, and hurtful, so it can be hurt. How about family?
Family? Love.
How about life?
Beautiful.
One word for sex.
Exciting.
Politics.
I would say corrupt.
Okay. Religion.
Respect.
Okay. One word for fear.
Fear. Overcome.
Friendship.
Genuine.
Desire.
Marriage.
Okay. How about success?
Growth.
One word for regrets.
None.
Wish.
Peace.
Good. One word for happiness.
Helping.
Good. One word for North Carolina.
Oh gosh, North Carolina. Home.
And the last one now, USA.
USA. I would say USA. Freedom.
Good. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your best friends for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your best friends, tell me the most beautiful thing about Adison, and tell me something that he still needs to improve on, to work on. What do you think your best friends will tell me?
Well, I would say definitely, well, we'll start with the good, right? I would hope that they would say that I'm a genuine caring person. I would hope that that's what they would say. And then something that I need to improve on would be definitely someone who needs to practice patience more. I mean, I'm not tested by any means, but I think I'm hard on myself because I always want to get things right as quickly as possible, or as, right on the bat. And I can kind of be hard on myself when I'm not able to do that. And, so sometimes, or when I want to achieve something, and I think that's that sport mentality in me, just sort of want to get something right and that sort of perfectionism. So I would say just, patience.
Next time when it happens, just go in the mirror and go like, okay, Adison, you're doing well. Go like that too. I'm sure it's going to help.
I'll take care of this because I need to do it.
Okay, so let's play now Adison in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. You can ask me a question now, Adison.
Okay, so I want to ask you something that's very more deep, like more of a deeper question. So,
right,
what is one moment that you can think of that changed the trajectory of your life for the better?
Right, it's a very interesting question, and when we were formulating the question, the first thing that came to my mind was when I was 19 years old. I had a dream to live, to speak English every day, to live in a country where I could speak English every day. I want to improve my English. I wanted to help my family. I had this drive of get a better life and go after my dreams. And of course, at the time, back in Brazil, I was 19. My parents, they couldn't afford me to pay for my visa or to afford me to live abroad. Long story short, one moment I saw at the time, of course, no technology. For you to travel, you need to literally go to those travel agencies to organize your trip. And I was literally knocking at their door, and I was going one after another saying, okay, I have this dream to live in the USA, in America, but my parents cannot afford this and that. And I knocked like different doors. And at one point I realized that it was impossible in a way, because my parents couldn't afford me. I couldn't, I was so young, I couldn't get a job. So for me, it was very difficult. It was, let's say, it was impossible to get a visa to live abroad. Saying that, I was literally getting the message, like I was understanding the message that wasn't impossible at the time. But there's always a but in our lives. There's always a but. I remember walking down the street, and I saw this little travel agency. It was like, before the ones I was going, was this successful big ones, full of advertisement around the city. But I saw this little door, and I could see it was a travel agency. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try one more time. I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna try again. So I went there, I knocked the door, the lady was there, and I arrived at the place. I said everything straight away. I was like, okay, I have this dream to live in USA. My parents, they don't have any way of supporting me there to get a visa, this and that. But I have this dream of living abroad. I have this dream of speaking English every day. And this lady, she was looking at me like, I think she liked the way I approached her. I told her everything about my dreams, everything I want to do. And she gave me a lot of advice, saying, okay, you can, for you to live in America is going to be impossible because of this and that, as you know. But why don't you try Europe? You know, have you ever thought about London, Ireland? And I was like, oh my God, yes, I never thought about that. And she said, okay, I've got a friend of mine who lives in Portugal, and she spent 3 months of her time in Brazil for holidays. And actually, she's here now. So, and she rents bedrooms in Portugal for people who lives alone, people who doesn't have family. I was like, oh my God, I never thought about that. And literally she put me in touch with this lady. And now I called her my second mom because we connect so much at the time. It's a long story anyway, like it's a beautiful story. But so back to your question, and I'm just cutting like a lot because there's so much that's happened during this time. You have no idea. But as to your question, Adison, I think that time when I looked at this small door and I said, okay, I'm going to try one more time. Not one more time, maybe I will try it again. But I had this feeling that, okay, I'm going to try again. You know, I was already feeling a bit like realistic about the situation because I couldn't go without any support. But I'm so grateful that somehow God or the universe guided me to that door, and I knocked it and I said, okay, I'm going to try one more time. I'm going to try again. And that's the moment where my life changed, like completely, you know what I mean, through that day, because I remember looking back, it's like, my God, sometimes when I go to Brazil on holidays, on vacation, and I pass by, I said, oh my God, thank God I came to this little agency, very simple one, very genuine. And I said, okay, I'm going to try. So yeah, I think that moment in my life, it was a moment that I said, okay, I changed. But I could tell you so many others as well during that time, because I think everything worked out together. Everything, as you were saying before, sometimes not up to us. You need to believe, you need to understand that the universe needs to work together as well, not just you yourself. You can do a lot, but you need to understand that not about yourself. You need help, you need to go, you know what I mean? But it's good to try, it's good to be around and trying. So yeah, that's the moment for me when it was, okay, that's the moment where I'm so grateful that I saw this little door and I believed that I could go there and try again. So that's the moment for me.
Good for you. That's an amazing story for you.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you. No, thank you so much. I think that's what life's about. Sometimes when they close 1, 2, 3 doors, you need to try to open the fourth one. You know what I mean? Always trying.
Never done that. You know, you don't know. I mean, you would have never had the wonderful experience of where you're at, what you're doing now, right?
Yeah, so, but I wouldn't be able to be talking to you right now. First, like speaking English and connect with the world right now. So imagine that door for me, it opened a lot of opportunities.
That's awesome. I love that.
Thank you so much, Adison. Thank you. Did you have a good time? Did you enjoy the interview?
I did. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I watched 1 or 2 interviews because you spoke a couple of days ago, so it was kind of fast. Yeah. But I was a little nervous. I didn't know what was going to be at. But I had a good time. I think this was a lot of fun. I think this is great what you've got going on. It's a good way to get to know people from all over the world, isn't it? You know? Absolutely.
Thanks so much. Thanks for taking your time and for taking the chance to be part of the show. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad that I contacted you because here we are, having experience.
That's right. I appreciate. Thank you for your time. Thank you for having me. It's been absolute pleasure. And yeah, this was a great experience that I can now write on my checklist. Check it out.
Thank you so much. Thank you. But before you go, I would like to share a positive message, a positive quote, something that inspires you in life.
Yeah. Well, there are many sayings, there are many quotes, honestly, that I love, and I could, go on and on. But I think there's one that is really small. It's very simple. It's very short, but it sums up a lot of the other ones to me. And really, that is, how does it go? It goes, "Dear past, thank you for all of the lessons. Dear future, I am ready."
Easy.
I love that. It has a lot of meaning, and it's a lot of meaning to me. And, we all are living this human experience together, and we're all learning lessons every single day. And, hopefully it just helps us to become better, more evolved people, right? And so, yeah, I love that quote. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thanks for sharing that. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So, thanks so much. Have a happy new year. Enjoy your time. I hope you have a wonderful year ahead, full of goals and full of expectation and everything. Thanks so much for the interview. We keep in touch. Okay?
Okay. So you as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.